Right, so about 2 or so weeks ago, as I've discussed in a previous video, I fell into a state of being too results focused. I was constantly checking YouTube Studio, looking at the analytics, and while doing so, I was unknowingly harming my overall momentum and burying my pure intentions down further and further. I just remember going out to dinner that night for my dad's birthday and just feeling the effects of what I'd been obsessing so much over affecting my overall well-being while I was there. I was questioning everything, questioning why I should even be partaking in my habits, questioning why I should even continue posting, because through this comparison, I'd lost sight of the true meaning behind why I do it in the first place. I'd buried myself down so far mentally by this point that I couldn't even find it within myself to put together a properly scripted, edited video. And so I made the one that you see right here. About a week to a week and a half later, something else happened that sort of threw me off track. My best friend pretty much just started ignoring me completely after something I said on a video. He was supposed to be coming back from a trip, so I was honestly not sure if he was alive or not. And I tried to sort of David Goggins this out, but I just couldn't. As a result of this worriedness, my escape route was obsessing over my appearance again and trying to find validation through that because I had someone in my life who made me feel good who wasn't there anymore. This led me down yet again another unfocused and unproductive cycle that led me to stray further and further away from my purpose and intentions. Now in these two scenarios, I'm getting distracted by or escaping through something for the need of validation. I'm obsessing over the results of my actions rather than taking actions to better the results. I'm losing myself and also a piece of my sanity in the process of trying to escape or fix something that's out of my control. I was obsessing over bad results instead of trying to put in better inputs to get better results. I was escaping the problem of my friend not reaching out to me despite countless efforts of me trying to reach out to him, rather than sort of assessing the situation a little better and trying to find logical solutions for it earlier on. It led me to sort of losing connection with myself. Like, for example, the night that I was in a really bad spot because of my obsession over the results, I sporadically decided to shave my face. And I think that was sort of a sign of a slight loss in mental stability on my behalf. Another example of this would be me falling into the looks trap again, or the social media trap, as a means to escape from my current situation without facing it 100% head on straight away. Now, I could be upset with myself right now because of what I lost in these two situations. I felt more demotivated as of recently. I haven't been as consistent routine-wise lately. And I think a lot of this is due to the fact that I had to overcome these two obstacles pretty close together. But here's the thing, I don't regret sort of losing myself in these moments, losing my focus, and hitting those sort of rock bottom points for myself, so to say. Because I believe mistakes are the best teachers and lessons that you can learn from, so long as you implement solutions for them and you put those implemented solutions into action. From the instance of being too results focused, I learned how toxic it can truly be to put all your time and energy into what you're getting out of your past hard work. My results were shit, I'm not gonna lie. And I'd been grinding out content for a few months up to that point without seeing almost anything from it. I had to step back for a moment and ask myself, what is going to get me the results that I actually want to get? Is it going to be spending my time using this app and obsessing? Or is it going to be me spending more and more time putting in more and more work? The answer was obviously simple, but the way to get there was going to be way harder. So I went into screen time. I looked at how much I was using this app per day, and it said about 11 minutes. So I said to myself, okay, let's try cutting it down to maybe 7 or 8 a day. But on the car ride into work that morning, I was just thinking about how deep of a hole that had dug me into, that pitful feeling I got from doing it so much. And so I said, fuck it, let's cut it down to 5, and that's the cap off. It's been about 2 or so weeks, and since then, I've not been on that app for more than 5 minutes a day. I can confidently say that my work has been better, my mental health has been in a much better place, and I'm so much more process focused rather than results focused, because I know the importance of it and what can happen if you aren't that way. I wouldn't have learned that if it weren't for fully indulging myself in all the results that I was getting and reaping the consequences from that long term. Not going to an escape route for my worry in the second situation, the excessive usage, the obsessing over my appearance, going to the extent of paying $5 for someone to rate my face, which I say with utter embarrassment, but I have to be honest here. I was seeking validation because I was hardly looking at the results from YouTube anymore. I don't really have anyone else that I actually talk to on a consistent basis besides this one friend. And I was sending text after text trying to get in touch with him with absolutely nothing on his end. It brings me back to my sophomore year in high school, where I felt very lonely for a period of time. I had a lot going on for me, right? I was a varsity distance runner. I was in a training cycle to achieve my black belt in martial arts. But I was always getting made fun of for my appearance on a daily basis. I felt that same feeling of loneliness that I felt at school back then correlate into how I felt in this situation. I think it sort of psychologically plays into me seeking the validation that I would be able to get now that I wouldn't have been able to get back then. And understanding this, I've sort of been able to put some blockers in place for that specific issue, because you never know without realizing it when these things can sort of spiral into something much worse. Like, for example, it was for me about 1.5 years or so ago, and how that can affect your overall well-being and mental state. Never feeling like it was ever enough, crushing my confidence, creating a distorted perception of myself, and placing more value on that than most hard work that I was honestly putting in at the time. I had already sort of learned my lesson from that period in my life, but this situation sort of pushed me to want to put blockers in place in case I ever go into that headspace ever again. Now I'm in a space where I believe I'm taking in the most knowledge, and as a result of that, putting out the most value that I can provide to the world. And I feel this sort of really correlates with my mantra, and I'm sure this is the same for many others, but everything happens for a reason. And my personal favorite, on the other side of a rainstorm, there will always be a rainbow, because there is a valuable lesson to be learned in order for you to grow and evolve past these distractions, obsessions, addictions, etc. You are where you are right now for a very specific reason. When do you ever learn anything when you're comfortable, when everything's flowing smoothly, nothing is going wrong? What do you build from that? Hardly anything, if not nothing. I know it's hard to accept, and I know it's hard to keep going when it's happening in the moment. But these hard times are going to keep coming. You are going to make mistakes. Things are going to happen in your life. It's inevitable for all of us. The best things we can do for ourselves in these situations is to develop strategies so we have an easier time dealing with these emotions and situations. Put those reminders in place for yourself like I have. Put those restrictions in place for yourself as well. And you will over time move out of those unhealthy thought patterns or obsessions, whatever they may be. So long as you consistently put them into practice and know that you are not the person who does those things. You do not identify with those habits or obsessions anymore. I hope this video provided you with some value today, my friend. As always, keep putting in that work towards becoming at least 1% better each and every day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Stay grinding, my G.